All right, the number 2 overall pick, the betting market is starting to lean towards LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels at number 2 to the Washington Commanders. This is the one where I feel like I've been on the Drake Maye bandwagon, not just as an evaluator, but as predicting the draft. Where do I think Washington's going to land? The more I talk to people, though, Sam, I'm getting less confident. What are you smirking? What's going on?
Ben in the chat points out that we should have done an April Fool's mock draft. This is like what an open goal we've let go by. This is almost as bad as PFF GAR. We could have done a whole April Fool's mock and just taken comedy players, and people would have hated it. It would have been amazing.
Can we restart? Can we just start it up?
We could just start it again, redo the title, and spool up some new graphics for an April Fool's mock draft.
We could just do it on the mock draft sim.
That's true, we could.
I'm ready to cancel and start right now.
You want to nix the show and do a mock?
Yeah.
Do an April Fool's mock right now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
How mad would everybody get? Oh, look, there you go.
Here it comes. We're not really doing this, are we? Oh, man, that would be amazing. Drake Maye at 1, just to really aggravate people.
J.J. McCarthy at 1.
Oh, JJ. Yeah, JJ at 1.
Yeah.
Now I'm torn.
Did you see Jaden Daniels had to come out and comment about his elbow? I accidentally,
You started a controversy? How do you guys say that overseas? I've heard it.
Controversy?
Yeah. I've heard it with the emphasis on different syllables.
How do you say it?
Controversy. Yeah.
So we say it the same.
I was listening to a podcast recently where someone from the British Isles, controversy or something like that. It was all messed up. Anyway, carry on. You started the controversy.
Well, I was part of it. So I definitely poured some gas on the fire, but I think there were more people than me that noticed the weird-ass photo that Ian Rappaport tweeted as just part of his, random, Jaden Daniels tweet. I can't remember what he was even talking about, Pro Day or something. And then there was the picture of him and his elbow. It was, launched out of his own arm. I quote tweeted, it was like, what the hell is going on with his arm? And apparently a bunch of other people noticed this as well, to the point where it went so viral that Jaden Daniels had to tweet out, "There's nothing wrong with my elbow.
That's good.
Stop
That's good
this."
You could have tanked his draft stock.
Yeah.
All right, so Daniels at 2. Let's just keep going here, unfortunately. So Daniels at 2, we're hearing more and more of that. There may have been a Freudian slip from Brian Kelly, LSU head coach. Did you hear that?
No.
So he was recapping Jaden Daniels and giving a little blurb on Jaden Daniels, how he's a good player, he's this and that. And he finished it with something along the lines of, and he'll be great in Washington. So he said that. Now, is that just him saying, hey, my guy's the second best quarterback, my guy's the number 2 pick, he's not going to fall?
Did he say it with a southern accent?
No, he seemed to have lost that since the one day he had it.
Oh.
Amazingly.
Okay.
He said Jaden Daniels is family. Family at number 2 in Washington. Something to that effect. So Jaden Daniels number 2.
Okay.
I'll just say again, with Daniels versus Maye, I don't know. I feel like there's more like a Greg Cosell in Dan Orlovsky. Guys, let's say
Dano says Jaden Daniels should be number 1.
Oh, I know that. There's a few saying Jaden Daniels number 1. But Greg Cosell, he's got Daniels as his 2, I believe. And he's got him, Cosell usually leans into win from the pocket, the old school quarterback approach. Not that he's against any level of mobility or whatever.
This is the thing about, and I do think.
I just want to say real quick, but what has impressed Daniels with a lot of people that I've talked to and evaluators is his ability to go through reads and play quarterback first and run second.
I do think that Daniels versus Maye is kind of a coin flip still. And I think what's driving that is more a product of how many people. It's the Maye. The Maye is the moving part of this, right? It's not that everyone is sort of becoming more and more enamored with Jaden Daniels. Is that the more people watch Drake Maye, the less they like, right? So and even people, as you said, that generally lean towards the win from the pocket, pro style quarterbacking type of things, right? Like you talked about Greg Cosell, Kurt Warner, who we've had on the show. Kurt is interesting because he sees everything through the lens of his own playing days, right?
He really does, yeah.
And I don't mean that as a criticism. That's just how he views the game. Kurt, as a prototypical pocket passer, that's what he understands. That's what he knows he understands, and that's how he believes is still the way that you win football games. So Kurt, every single year, is zeroing in and attaching himself to the most prototypical pocket passing quarterbacks, which if you were drawing them up in this draft, you would probably say Drake Maye is that guy. And yet I saw Kurt, criticizing Drake Maye for exactly the same things everyone else, saying the dude just misses too many layups. Like, he can do special things, but why are we missing all this easy stuff? Like, that's what you need to be great at if you're going to be that type of quarterback. So I think this whole Jaden Daniels, Drake Maye thing, you're getting a lot of people side with the Jaden Daniels thing, but I don't think it's because everyone's loving his tape the more you dive into it. It's because the more you look at it, the more it's just hard to sell yourself on Drake Maye.
I've heard more of the Drake Maye sit and learn and develop over the last few weeks than I thought I would, because of the footwork and this and the layup stuff.
And I think it's the same thing, but I don't know that it's, we don't know what should every quarterback in the NFL sit and learn for a year? Don't know, right? It's difficult to make that determination because the variables are so many, and it's hard to get a clean A/B analysis on anything. But it's not a case of like, oh, he's raw in these areas and therefore can't start. Like, he does a lot of things at an extremely high level in terms of recognizing blitz, changing plays, changing protections, adjusting the kind of thing that is usually the thing that keeps a quarterback on the sideline. Right? He can't do these things. He needs to be operated remotely, essentially, from the sideline, and we can't have that at the NFL level. He does all that stuff really well. It's just that some of this other stuff is janky. And it's like, I don't know if that means you need to sit him or if it just means this is why he's wildly inconsistent right now. And I don't know how you fix that like right away. Does that need a year of the Josh Allen treatment where we just go away and work with a private quarterback coach? But Josh Allen didn't sit. Like, he played through it. And it was in the offseason that he made strides. And then we played through it again. And it was still pretty rough. And then the offseason we made more strides. And then suddenly Josh Allen, fixed. Like, is that what the Drake Maye arc is going to look like? Or can we get that done during his rookie season if we sit him?
Yeah. I mean, Allen's big step was year 3. And look, there were glimpses of the playmaking. I think Drake Maye has a lot of that playmaking too. So I like Drake Maye.
But this is
still,
the interesting thing.
But I'm hearing more and more people who don't like him.
Yeah. Kyle Shanahan made this point at some stage where he's like, we basically don't touch a quarterback's fundamentals during the season because we can't. We don't have that kind of time. It's all week-to-week game planning. It's all that stuff. It's not, hey, your footwork on these plays is slightly off. We're going to work on that this week. We don't have time for that crap. So if you're dealing with a young quarterback or a guy that needs development, in certain places, I'm not saying this is universal, it probably isn't, but in certain places, certainly, that guy is literally not getting any better on a technical fundamental point of view from like week 1 through week 18 or beyond, right? If you're a good team. So if you're looking at Drake Maye and you're saying, okay, I've identified 2 or 3 flaws in his technique that we need to fix before he can become a really good NFL player. You're either saying this is only going to happen in the offseason, we're only addressing these things in the offseason, or you're saying we need to sit him and work on this during the season in order to get him to where he needs to be. And even then, there's no guarantee that it can happen because who knows how long that kind of thing takes. So that's the interesting thing with somebody like Drake Maye is that the more of these problems you identify with his game, the harder that is to project how long it's going to be until he's good.
I mean, the other thing, though, too, is Maye brings a lot of big plays to the table, though, both with his legs and over the middle of the field. It was pointed out to me by someone that maybe some of his middle of the field stuff that I love so much is, the inside receiver, number 3, and trips, kind of working option routes. And those, you kind of throwing into bigger windows when you do that. But I still like him. I still like what he could potentially bring to the table there. So